Okay then, for those of you who know your Monty Python, I would say now over to something completely different. Because I guess you're all in here are keen on exporting, because that's what, I hope so, because that's what I'm going to talk about next 15 minutes, or maybe you're having a rest, that's okay with me. Anyway, my name is Robert Wickman. I'm head of the marketing group within EKN for the small and medium-sized enterprises. It's a very important target group for EKN. And just to make the picture complete, I also have a colleague from the other side here, Alexander Franson, who is taking care of the larger corporate business. What I will do now is to give you a short introduction of what EKN is, what we do, and the benefit of using EKN in export transactions. First of all, EKN is a government agency, and our role is to promote the Swedish export. And we do that by issuing state guarantees for payments and financing. That's the basic foundation of EKN. Our business have quite a lot of similarities with the insurances. We issue, as I said, guarantees, but it's not like bank guarantees. It's a conditional guarantee, which is a very strong tool for exporting companies in that sense that the government is backing up. And although we do not provide financing as such, we do not lend money. The guarantee is very much a tool for financing in order to obtain finance from the banks and other financial institutions. And as I said, we are a government agency, which means that the guarantee we issue is on behalf of the Kingdom of Sweden. I would like to stress also that EKN is in the business for all exporting companies, regardless if they are large corporations or small companies. Because there is a misconception in many cases that we are only here for the large business, which that's not true. And actually no transaction, no deal is too small for EKN to consider. So regardless the size of the company and the transaction, we are happy to look at it, as long as it is connected to an export transaction. Well, we would like to see us as a risk partner. So when do you need a risk partner? Well, I would say regardless of the climate, of the situation, you will need some kind of assistance when it comes to cover the risk in certain aspects. In recession, when there is a lot of uncertainty about the market situation and so on, but also in time of prosperity to meet the business opportunities lying ahead. EKN's role is very much to complement the private market. So we are in here to take somewhat higher risks and probably in most cases at a longer tenure. Last year we covered transactions all around the world, actually in 150 countries. We issued guarantees for business deals. This is a map which illustrates our risk country, or the country risk classification. It's sort of a rating system, you might say, which indicates how we look upon different countries around the world. This information could also be found on our website, where you always have the updated rating for individual countries around the world. Which means that if you have a transaction, you will pay a premium depending on which country you are delivered to. So if you have a transaction to China or exactly the same transaction up to Brazil, you will pay have a different premium for the deal, because of there are different risk classification of the countries. So there are 8 risk country categories, which you can find on our website. And also there you find our reports. You can read about how we look upon the different countries all around the world. So why should anyone use EKN? Well, it's definitely a tool for expanding, both on domestic or the established market, I would say, but also new markets, maybe on the markets a bit further away, emerging markets, for instance, where you've considered the situation a bit more risky. And it's definitely worth considering, instead of asking a customer abroad for advance payment, that you can offer a credit to him, to offer a finance to the customer. Because if you have a guarantee from EKN, you know that you will get paid if the customer doesn't pay. You have an insurance policy for that risk. And the guaranteed payment from EKN reduces the risk, which means that you will most certainly get a better financing, both for yourself as an exporter, but also for the maybe for the customer abroad. So what actually do we do when we say we issue guarantees? Well, we have three categories, I might say. It's guarantee for payments covering the risk of non-payment. We have a guarantee for working capital in order to make it easier for an exporter, particularly a small, medium-sized company, to obtain financing through a bank by having an EKN guarantee as security. And we can also make it easier for banks to issue bank guarantees, performance guarantees, advance payment guarantees on behalf of the exporter if EKN is backing it up. How does it work in practice? Well, let's assume that we have a company here, which an exporter who has received an order from a customer, a potential customer somewhere in the world. Let's assume it's Turkey, for instance. And in many cases, he has a situation where he has to look upon this financing of his own business. He needs some kind of working capital in order to take the order. We have, as I said, a guarantee for working capital credit, which means that we can make it easier for a bank to finance the transaction, to finance the exporter, by we take on 50% of the risk the bank has. Let us also assume that the exporter has received or will receive an advance payment from the customer, but most certainly the customer would require an advance payment guarantee in return, just to make sure he will get back the money in case the exporter doesn't fulfill his commitments. So he turns to the bank and asks them to provide that guarantee, and the bank will certainly look upon, will there be enough security from the exporter for us to issue this guarantee. And by using EKN's counter indemnity, which we provide to the bank up to 75%, it's easier for the bank just to go ahead and to issue a guarantee to the customer abroad without adding additional security from the exporter. And finally, let us assume in this case that the customer abroad asks for a credit period of 60 days and is not keen on paying upfront. In this case, then the exporter has to consider whether it's acceptable risk. Will he get paid after 60 days? And what happens when it comes to financing his own business during that time? And we can issue a guarantee for trade receivables, meaning that we protect this invoice in case the customer does not pay the invoice. We will indemnify the exporter up to 95% of the face value of the invoice. And also he can use this guarantee to discuss with the banks to get an advance payment, a loan from the bank, by transferring the right under the guarantee to the bank as in security to get a loan from the bank up front. So this is a way how our customer uses our guarantee and how it could be used in every export transactions in most parts of the world. This is a quote I take from one of our customers a couple of years ago who were asked whether he could give us a few advice what to do when facing an export deal. And he said, my first and only advice at that time is to call EKN. So my message here today is really, if you are in a situation where you have an export transaction, just call us. You don't need to know much about the details, how it works, etc. Just give us a call and see whether we can assist you in any matters. So give us a call. I'm not alone. There are many more people behind us and me. Okay, thank you very much.